Okay, I'm back with some practical movements, drills, information that you can use, especially if you sit at your desk for many hours every day. So these guys, the glutes, they can get weak and tired, and there is a condition called the Trendelenburg. Now I think Trendelenburg was a person that probably came up with this condition. They probably named it after that person because that's what they used to do, but we've moved away from that. So two particular muscles, there's the glute medius and glute minimus. Minimus is smaller, but the glute medius, that particular muscle, it has various actions. I can think of 6 different actions. So one action that it does this. We call that abduction of the hip. Another thing that it does is it stabilizes the pelvis. So it's stabilizing the structure back here. Okay, now it has anterior fibers and posterior fibers. Now the anterior fibers are obviously in front, and the anterior fibers is going to take the hip into this action. That action is called flexion. I'll show it again, flexion. It also does another action called medial rotation of the hip. So it's going to take the hip and it's going to move it in this direction. That's medial rotation. Now the posterior fibers, which are going to be probably back here somewhere, right in there. Yeah, it's like I'm showing you my gluteal region there. And what it does extension of the hip. So I'm going to bend at the knee. It does that action. That's extension. And it also does external rotation of the hip. So from there to there, that's external rotation. Now, if these guys are weak, you could lose your balance, you could feel achiness, your walking could be very challenging if you have a Trendelenburg or a weak hip region. Those two muscles, glute medius and glute minimus, it is actually an abduction problem. So you have a hard time doing this action. So one of the ways you can strengthen this, and it's actually not too bad. I'm holding on to this steel beam, big chunk of steel here. I keep this leg straight and I drop this hip down. Drop and lift. Drop and lift. And actually I get a bit of a stretch in my low back when I do this as well. And I come up as high as I can. I go down as low as I can while keeping that leg perfectly straight. I'm going to show you what it looks like from behind so you can see it from this angle. Okay, so this leg, my left leg is going to be straight, and then I relax, and then I come back up. I relax, and I come back up. And I do that one more time, descend, and raise up. Now, when I'm doing that action is I'm strengthening the glute muscles, glute medius and glute minimus. And again, if you have an issue with this area, what you can do is you can do this exercise, and after you finish doing that, a little bit of stretching could be helpful in case these guys get a bit tight. Maybe something like a 2x6 or a 3x8. But as with all exercises, please make sure that you check in with your family doctor and or your healthcare provider before starting any of these, because sometimes new movements that we introduce could cause aches and pains and make things worse. So best to check with your healthcare professional. I will see you next time. Thanks for spending a little time here again with me.